Hello, hello, welcome to Movie Nights. I am not Sammy Ramirez, as you can tell. I am Don Martino. I will be hosting today's show, and we are going to be talking about Venom 2, or Venom Let There Be Carnage, rather, directed by the great Andy Serkis. And with me today is my guest, Jose. Jose, how's it going, my man?
I'm doing good. How about you, man?
Dude, pretty good, brother. Pretty good. We have to start the show with a very, heavy heart today and sadness and bad news, and that's never good. And, this is going to come as probably a surprise to a lot of you out there. And, something that, we didn't want to have to ever announce. But Sammy has, gained some outside opportunities that have come about, and she has decided to take herself or remove herself from our situation because of that. And it's always understandable. It was a conversation between her and I, and it's a mutual understanding between her and I. There's no bad blood, no ill will. And she wanted me to let you guys know how, sorry she is that she couldn't do this one last time, and also that this probably isn't goodbye forever. She probably will come back on the channel from time to time, but she has left the channel, and it's very sad. And it always sucks when you lose somebody. We did this so many times before on this channel. I mean, we've lost people. We lost Ian Schick early on, and Cisco Scartozzi we lost early on, and Sammy now. And it's always sucked, but we always kind of work through it. And we are going to be, I am still seeking a replacement for her, for this channel. I've been working on some prospects for that, so I'll let you guys know who replaces her on the channel when that comes around, when that time comes. And I have some pretty exciting prospects for it, but nothing set in stone yet. But here we are. And this is a sad day. And honestly, I will miss having the conversations with her that we've had on the show. And her information is all still on the screen. I do highly recommend you guys go follow her, show her support. Again, there's no ill will, no bad blood between us. I mean, everything is still kosher. So she was a massive part of what made Anorax Entertainment, though, and helped me build a lot of this channel, and I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. And here we are, though, sadly, having to announce her loss. But it was time for her to move on to other things, and that's fair. That's fair, and I understood completely. It's my job as the one who runs this channel to root for my people to be successful, and I don't want to see them not be successful. If they have an opportunity, I want them to chase it down, as long as it's something that's going to better themselves and not hold themselves back. And so it was a conversation that we had to have. It was a hard one, very difficult, but we had it, and it was important to me. And I was very appreciative that she came to me about it, and we had a mature adult conversation. So everything's good, though, and hopefully she will be back one day. But for right now, it's unfortunately she did have to depart from us. So it's very sad, very sad. But Jose, you got anything on that, or you want to add?
I mean, yeah, I've been part of this channel for long, but the episodes that I did get to talk with her,
Well, you know Sammy a long time. I mean,
I have, yeah,
you met her a
the
long time ago. Yeah.
stereo, like I've said before, stereo brought all of us together, and all the talks that we've had on this channel and off camera have been, very fun, and I
Yeah.
appreciate, the time that we spent talking together and spending
Yeah.
time together, and she'll be missed. And
Yeah.
I can't, if she's ever appearing on here again, I can't wait, because it'll be fun. I know it will.
She'll be back without a doubt, I'm sure, for something. I'm sure we'll get her back for something at some point. So no doubt in my mind that she'll come back and see everybody again, and
And
talk.
Sammy, if you're watching this, I've already started the musical list that you sent me, so just to let you know.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks, guys, for indulging in that Uh, Unfortunate news, but good news too. Great news for Sammy that she's doing something to better herself, and we do wish her all the support, and I hope everybody out there does the same. So, that said, there's another piece of bad news for some of you listeners, but I think it's all going to spiral into some good news. With Sammy gone, Jose and I have been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of talking on, where to take things and stuff. And, for me, where I want to go is somewhere different. I hired or I brought on Sammy and Cisco for a certain set of skills, and they were wonderful at that, and they did a great job with it, and I think that together it built the foundation of this channel and what it can be. But I also feel like I brought on Jose for a separate set of skills, and for me, I really want to dive into those. And so you guys are going to be seeing a lot of changes on the channel here within the next couple weeks. The first one being that movie night is going to be gone. I honestly, I have a strong feeling about this show and the association it has with Sammy. I think that this is Sammy's show, and she built it well, and she did it well. It was one of my favorite shows on this channel, and for me, it's sad to take it away because I believed in it so much, but without Sammy, it's just not the same. I got to be honest. So for me, we are still going to have spoiler reviews on the channel in a very different format, and I'm excited to tell you guys about that later. So don't worry about that. We'll still bring spoiler reviews in a very different format, but honestly, without Sammy on this show, it just, for me, it's almost too hard to do. It's almost too hard to keep going with it because it was so much her. The personality of the show is her. The vibe of the show is her, and I love that. And I can't, I can never match that for people. I know that in my heart that I can never bring the same energy, same personality, the same type of conversations that we did have. But again, Jose and I are, not going to stray away from doing spoiler reviews. We're going to have those for you guys. There's going to be a lot of changes on Animax Entertainment coming in the next couple weeks, but I think you guys are going to really love them. I
Yeah,
really do.
I'm super excited for them too. Like
Yeah.
you said, we've been talking off camera about them, and I'm super excited for what's to come for this channel, the changes that we're planning on bringing. So
Yeah. I mean, I think the two of us have really put our heads together and come up with some cool stuff. And it's just gonna allow for more opportunities to do more, I think. And at the end of the day, the thing is it's great to have 3 people, 4 people on the channel at a time, but when you have to track all that, it becomes very difficult because there's a lot of scheduling conflicts and stuff. So with Jose and I just kind of running the show right now, it's given us an opportunity to branch out the type of content that we can have, because he and I only have to keep each other's schedules in line and work around each other's schedules. And that's really it honestly clicked with me that this is kind of an incredible opportunity. And once we build all that, once we build that new foundation, we could bring so many more new people on eventually, and they'll be more excited to do it, than ever before, I hope. And it's always going to be a community channel. It's always going to be something that I want to bring a crew into, but it's going to also take work to build the foundation to get a crew to be excited about the stuff that we're going to be doing. But I really want everybody to join us for that. And I mean, I'm dead serious when I say I think I'm the most excited about the stuff we are going to bring to this channel than I've ever been in my life. And it's going to be new. It's going to be a little bit of the same with a lot of new. That's kind of that's the way I describe it. A lot.
I'm just super glad that it's me that you've brought on to this journey that this change that you want to bring to this channel. I'm just super glad, and I appreciate it a lot, and I feel honored.
Yeah, part of it, like I said, is the fact that we do have less to keep I have less now to be responsible for, as far as like time constraints and working around everybody's schedules. That's part of it, but the other
The thing is, we also have a lot of interests that are the
well
same and stuff like that. So it's a lot easier to do this kind of stuff.
And that's what I was going to tell the audience is a lot of it was also just getting to know Jose off camera, and figuring out what his strengths are and his sensibilities, and the fact that, I've always kind of had a vision for what I would like to bring to the channel. And I feel like with Jose now a part of it, I can make this work. And this has given me an opportunity with Jose to make all this stuff work. And it's all stuff that I was going to do with him anyway. It's just now it's a little bit more like I don't have to do all that other stuff on top of everything else. You know what I mean? And so for me to just like, we're going to kind of wipe the slate a little bit clean on this channel. But again, you're still going to have a little bit of the same with a lot of new. Don't get me wrong. You're going to have your reviews. You're going to have your movie news talks in its own format, though. It's going to be a new format, its own way. And we'll talk more about that on the NRX Entertainment podcast this week. But for right now, that is the best news. That's the news I can give you for right now when it comes to movie night. I just wanted to at least limit the news to movie night today and what's going to be happening with this. But you guys will, I think, really enjoy a lot of the stuff we're going to bring in. I hope you're excited about it. I really do. And yeah, man. And Jose, I'll let you close that out with whatever you got. So.
Like you said, we got a lot of new stuff coming to this channel, and I'm super excited to start venturing into it with you. I couldn't imagine doing it with anyone else. And yeah, I hope you guys, enjoy everything new that we're going to bring to this channel. I know Dom and I are definitely going to be super excited because we always have a lot of fun, recording this stuff off camera with each other because we're always just vibing and having, the time of our lives. So I'm super excited, and I hope you guys are super excited for the changes that we're going to bring to this channel because they're going to be great. I can already tell.
Oh yeah. Me too. Me too, man. I'm like I said, most excited about this stuff than I've ever been. So we'll get to more of that on the NRX Entertainment podcast this week, guys, and you guys will find out more. But for right now, let's get into the good stuff, the meat, the nitty gritty. Let's talk about Venom, Let There Be Carnage, directed by the one, the only Andy Serkis, bringing back stars Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, and now Woody Harrelson is coming to the mix as Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. Jose, what did you think of the movie? Give your non-spoiler thoughts to start with, and we'll go from there.
Honestly, better than the first one. I won't lie. I enjoyed this one a lot more. I think it's credit to Woody Harrelson, a big part. Obviously, Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, with Venom is great, but I felt like the difference was Woody Harrelson in this movie. He made the difference in this movie, which is I think what made me enjoy this movie a lot more than the first one, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I like the movie as well, to a degree. I think, you guys know me, like, Jose, because you're a massive fan of the first movie, right? So, like, for me, I was not. Like, I don't like that first movie almost at all. There's a couple redeemable spots, but for the most part, I really did not like that first movie. And when I saw the trailers for this one, it pretty much made it clear to me that we're going to get a lot of the same of the first one, maybe even if not tenfold, And in some ways that works for it because there's a lot of self-awareness, I feel like, on the part of Andy Serkis coming into this one. I feel like the first one kind of brought that campiness and that sort of cheesy kind of comedy element, like unaware of itself in a way, but people just tended to gel with it. So in that sense, for the people that love the first one, more nonsense doesn't necessarily mean bad, because True. For myself, I don't like it. It's not for me. It's really not. I don't like that stuff. The first hour of this movie is almost nothing but nonsense, and for me, it's not for me. I don't like it. I want no part of it. You guys, by the time this airs, you'll see my non-spoiler
I mean,
review.
there was a couple scenes in this second movie that I just felt like could have been cut out from the movie that wasn't really necessary for the movie.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I enjoyed it a lot more than the first one. So.
Well, I mean, let's talk spoilers too. I mean, this is what we're here for. So we're gonna put up the spoiler warning, guys. We are gonna go into it big time. So, let's talk.
So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it first and then watch our video.
For sure. Honestly, or watch my non-spoiler review, which will be up by the time this airs. So whichever. But listen, I mean, okay. So to start with, this is this is my problem with the Venom movies in a nutshell, and it can all be described by one scene in this movie, the Michelle Williams scene. Now, let me start by saying this. I hated the chemistry between Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams in the first movie. I thought it was not even existent. That said, I think they had clearer direction as actors in this one. I think they did better together in this movie. I thought that him and Michelle
100%,
Williams, you felt the chemistry more. And maybe it's because of the story that was at least there in the first one, or the little bit of story. But whatever Andy Serkis did as far as directing his actors, I have no problem with that. I think that he actually directed his actors better. They had more of a consistent performance to them, and this time around, you kind of knew where they were at. And the other thing that helped their performance out is that they didn't have to be romantic together in this one. There was a difference there because
they weren't they're not together anymore.
I think that improved their chemistry so much better, because it's like, no, they're not together. They don't have to, they have no chemistry. Why would they be? And I think that was it just helped the situation so much further. But the scene where they're sitting in the restaurant is in a nutshell what my problem is with these Venom movies, and that is that you got Michelle Williams trying to deliver a really good performance, and then you got Venom who keeps interrupting with jokes. That's my biggest problem. And Venom can be funny if he wants to be, but
I'm not gonna lie, I actually laughed in that scene,
and everybody did. And you should.
I quite enjoyed that scene. Though.
You should. It was made for you to laugh at. It annoys me because to me it's distracting from what the other actor is doing in the moment. Now I know the movie is called Venom, but still, I want Venom to be more horrifying. I don't like this comedic route they've taken Venom.
You know what's funny is that I've seen a lot of videos where people said that, like, oh, why are we getting this like comedic, less horrifying Venom when in the comics he was nothing but horrifying. But and
I get why Andy Serkis did that, because it worked for the first movie. Right. So like it's hard for me to like really put a lot of blame on Andy Serkis as a director. He's doing what worked, and he's trying to do that tenfold, and I get that, and I have no blame on him for that. But especially like with Woody Harrelson, who's playing this really psychopathic character and does it phenomenally, by the way. I really wanted Venom to not distract me from that, and he would be in the middle of something and Venom would say something funny, and it's just like, oh, you killed the moment for me. It takes me out of the moment. And I loved
I can see that. Yeah,
I loved Woody Harrelson in this movie, though, by the way, and like you, he almost made it for me. I mean, if anything made this movie for me, it was Woody Harrelson. He was really
he was incredible in this movie, honestly. Like, hats down. He played probably one of the best psychopathic serial killers I've seen.
He was so good. He was so good, and
he was.
And I was with him in every moment of it, and like that was the thing. Like,
you can almost like feel his pain and what he was feeling in his moments in the movie.
Yeah, and now like the storyline with what was her name, Shriek, right? Like that was was wasted. I mean, the Shriek character was wasted in the movie. Like,
and a lot of people think that she was a mutant.
Yeah, probably, but she was wasted either way. Like I wasn't even like
she was barely in the movie. That's the thing.
I only cared about like what she meant to Woody, but like they could have used her more, because like why have her?
She was barely in the movie.
It was like why have her as an existing character?
She was like locked up for most of the movie.
Yeah, because you could have just had her dead and it wouldn't have made a difference. No offense, like you could have had her like dead at this point, wouldn't have made it much of a difference. By the end.
Because I mean it wouldn't have made a difference really.
Not much of one. Anyway.
The outcome would have been the same really.
You could have like done a plot where she was dead. Yeah, and it would have been the same outcome. She was dead and he was trying to find the way to bring her back to life, but it was going to destroy the city if he did that. Something like that would have worked a little bit better, because she had no point in the movie. Here's my problem too. Because I like the dark, horrifying Venom, and this was a problem for me in the first movie. If you're gonna do the comedy Venom, if you're gonna do the comedic route, you can compensate a lot by making these movies R-rated and giving me a lot more blood and gore. You can compensate for that sort of comedic tone by giving me the blood and gore. You look at something like Deadpool works because he has like a lot of blood and gore.
Yeah, I was going to say he's comedic, but there's also a lot of that blood and gore.
Mm-hmm. A lot more going on.
That was another thing too, is that, I mean, like you said, replace, you're going to have comedy, but put in more blood and gore. They could have showed how Venom actually, bites the head off of the bad guys, because you never actually see that.
Yeah, you got Venom doing that. You got Carnage, which was sick, by the way, sticking his tongue down guys' throats, and
That
it
was
was
really cool.
cool.
It was disgusting, but it was cool.
It was cool, but then he's getting shot and there's no blood coming off of him. You kidding me? Like there was
Well,
those scenes. Like I get that
well, yeah,
he's like,
he was getting shot, but he opened up his stomach and he was killing the people behind him.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That was cool. I did like all the Carnage.
That was cool.
I did like the Carnage stuff for the most part. Like I'll be honest, like everything with Carnage was awesome. Like when he came on the screen, I was like, holy shit, that is freaky, and I love it. You know?
Yeah, you talking about when he came out of the place? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was sick.
Yeah, I like that he kind of really did go in with the horror vibe on this one, like Andy Serkis did, because it's good for the fall time, movie. You know what I mean? Like it is a really good way to like kind of open up October. If you ask me, with something like this, and like honestly, even though like a lot of this movie wasn't for me, I mean that genuinely. This is something that a lot of people are going to be into, and a lot of people are. This is the highest grossing movie of the year so far.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so far, highest opening weekend. Yeah, $90 million it made this weekend. It crushed. Yeah, so domestic, it crushed this weekend. So
Domestic only. Oh wow. Okay.
it crushed. This movie did incredible. It's
I did more than Shang-Chi. That's crazy.
it's the second highest October opening of all time. And we're talking about a post-pandemic era. Yeah, next to Joker.
Of all time?
Next to Joker, it's the second highest October opening of all time. Yeah.
Wait, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker is number 1?
Yeah. Highest opening weekend, yeah. And of October. Highest October opening. This has the second highest. So people are loving it, is the point. And that's cool, man. I'm down with it. I wanted to love it. It's not for me, I'll be honest. But to dive in though, the last half hour of this thing is awesome.
Oh yeah, the last like 30 to 40 minutes is like
awesome. And that's what you came to see, right? Like I was kind of equated.
As I say, you came for those last like 40 minutes or so, yeah.
I equate it to all the Rambo movies since Rambo 2. You go to see them for the last 20 minutes of the movie. Like there's really like you don't really have to add much to the first like hour of them. You go for the last 20 to 30 minutes of them. And it's fun, man. I had a lot of fun with the last half hour. If this was like non-Venom, I probably would have scored this movie a little higher. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't Venom, if it was like some other character that we can like have those nonsense moments with, I would have scored this movie higher. But like in all honesty, because it's Venom, it's like unfortunately I can't look at it the same as I look at like say Rambo. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard for me to do that. I mean, if this was anything but Venom, I would have probably liked this movie more. But that said, like I said, you get the Venom Carnage fight, and it's good. It delivers, and it really delivers.
So I was gonna say, I think the one part, the whole scene that I was mentioning earlier that I felt like could have just been cut out that we didn't really need, which was probably my least favorite part of the movie, was the whole. Venom eating chickens and chocolate to feed his human brain needing cravings, and them splitting up, and Venom kind of like jumping host to host, needing coming out of the Eddie closet as people are calling it.
Yeah, I could have done with all that.
You could have just taken that all out, and honestly wouldn't have mattered. Like, you didn't really need that,
especially like when you
seeing his ex-fiance as Venom again was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
With Venom, yeah.
I thought that was a good scene, actually. Like, that was one of the funnier scenes that actually got me. Like, that made me laugh.
Oh, Miss Chen with Venom was kind of funny.
Yeah, that made me really laugh, actually. That was one of the better ones. She was like, nobody likes you, Dave. Like, that was really funny.
And then she was like, wait, Venom, is that you?
Yeah, that really made me laugh.
Those were good scenes. Those are really good.
It's not that some of the comedy didn't make me laugh. Again, it's just I wish it was some throwaway character,
or just not not as often as it was in.
Yeah,
in
it was overly done in my opinion. And the thing with this movie is like when you try to look at it as like a comic book movie, and like I feel a lot of the same thing about the first one. You look at the dramatic weight that you could have with one of these, and there's just not. It's just non-existent. Like the whole dramatic weight behind it is Eddie and Venom just get mad at each other over a girl. It's so like high school to me, you know, like that's kind of like what or Michelle Williams kind of spirals the, you know, arguments and or snowballs the arguments into.
It was also like Venom wanting to feed on humans, and Eddie was like,
Yeah.
no, we can't do that. And then it just spiraled into this whole argument
Yeah.
of like, oh, how do you know how, you know, you can't feel, you don't have emotions, how do you know how I feel and all that? And then it just sparked this, yeah, almost like in a immature high school arguments you would have like with
Yeah.
yourself, or yeah.
And it just doesn't carry a lot of stakes or dramatic weight for me. Like I feel like these
It didn't feel, especially in that scene, it didn't feel much like Venom. You know what I mean? It was more of like, I don't know, some kind of maybe like immature Spider-Man movie or something like that. Like it just didn't feel like a Venom movie.
yeah, and like the thing is like I think the other thing that always has bothered me about like in both of these movies, Tom Hardy is like an A+ top tier actor, and he
Oh,
does
yeah.
give 100% to these. Like I'm not trying to take that away from him because he's really good in this movie. There's no doubt about it. Like I'm not trying to take that away from him, but it always kind of bothered me that he kind of is settling for this. If he was ever going to do a comic book movie, this is the one he chose. You know, that always has kind of bothered me. I always felt like you could have, it would have been fine for him to do it if they went with the vibe and gave him like the if the writing of the character gave him the opportunity to really show how much range he actually has as an actor. And he's good in the movie, I'm not saying that he gives 100% to what he can, but these movies don't give him the range that he actually has. That's always been another problem with these movies that I've had. You know, it's he's an actor with so much more range, and he can never show it off in these. And that's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know why. I don't think I'll ever get over that, you know. But again, when we go back to
I guess I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say one thing I wanted to mention too was I find it really cool the way that Woody Harrelson Cletus turned into Carnage. It was really cool. You know how
Yeah,
he
the transformation looked good.
bit Eddie in the hand, and then
Oh,
he saw
you
that,
mean like the way it happened because
he saw that
because he
droplet
got
of
the
blood,
right.
saw the
I
Carnage,
agree.
ate
Yeah.
it, and then when he was being put sentenced to death by lethal
Right.
injection, and then you just see Carnage just stop it, and then
Yeah.
he's just like doing like he's being like an exorcism or something. He's just
I agree.
being
That
taken
stuff
over
was
by.
cool. Yeah.
It was really cool.
I really like that stuff a lot. Yeah.
And it was really funny too. Is, when the general or whoever he was asked Woody Harrelson like, "What are your last words?" And then when he turned into Carnage before he was gonna eat him, he was like, "So what are your last words?"
Yeah.
That was really funny.
Yeah, it was really
And then
good.
when he's walking away, he's like, he was singing some kind of song or something, and he was like, "Oh, you tasted like ham." I was like,
Yeah.
that was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, some of that stuff did play. Like some of the humor did play. I'm not saying like I would say more jokes landed for me in this one than the first movie, but he did too many jokes in this one, you know. And Venom just
It was overly. It was wait. I didn't think it was. I think it was way too many jokes. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
there was way too many.
there
it was
was a
overlo-
lot.
It was overloaded with jokes.
Every 5 minutes they tried to go for one, and it's just not going to work if you do that, you know.
Except when it came to the Venom Carnage fight, there was
Right,
you
the
know,
fight was great because they
Exactly.
were holding back finally, and again, it's why you go see the movie anyway, and so the fight delivered. So you know, whatever, right? I mean, because like when you get to the fight, it's like okay, thank God that this delivered. And Carnage is a much better villain than fucking Riz Ahmed from the first one.
Oh,
you know?
Riot.
God, he was bad, man. He was really bad in that movie. Like I love Riz Ahmed as an actor, but that character was empty to me. Like Riot was bad, dude.
Yeah,
It
Carnage was
really
the.
bad.
I think it's also because Carnage did a lot more in this movie than Riot in the previous one, in my opinion.
I think it was the
They-
performance too of Cletus.
That
you know?
too, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I feel like Cletus was given a lot more in this movie than in the Riot in the last movie. You know, he
Well,
wasn't really-
it's a more interesting concept for a villain, you know, psychopathic, you know, killer, versus the leader
of the Life Foundation.
the leader of the Walmart version of Oscorp, you know, that they had in the first one. Like, which one are you gonna take? You know, it's like, come
Yeah,
on,
you're gonna take the psychopath anytime.
yeah,
It's like someone who is rich against someone who's psychotic in the head,
Yeah.
who finds enjoyment in killing people.
Yeah.
Like we found out in the movie that he killed his own. He pushed his grandma down the stairs.
Right.
He threw a blow dryer in his mom's tub and killed her. And then he was abused by his dad, sent away to this home for psychotic kids, which is where he found the love of his life. Frances Bear, I forget her last name, but her first name was Frances. But yeah, it was. Oh, we also forgot to mention Detective P. Mulligan. When she was being taken, and then he shoots her. Thinks she's dead, but it was really just taking out one of her eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
And then the whole Carnage breaking into Ravencroft when you found out where she was by hijacking that laptop. That was pretty cool. The way that he hugged her cell with his arms and broke it.
Yeah.
And then the way they escaped in that car with the choppers and all, that was pretty cool too. But then Carnage getting pissed at her for screeching because obviously we all know symbiotes, their weakness is loud screeches and fire.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool that was kind of cool stuff there in that movie too. I enjoyed it a lot.
I agree. I like, there's a lot of that stuff I enjoy. Like sort of like building the lore of it. Like that stuff I like a lot better than they did in the first movie. Like building the sort of Venom lore is like the stuff I was really into here, and they did a lot of that, and that really, really worked. And like me, like I told you, like I did not like Andy Serkis's last directorial movie. Like
Mowgli.
That sucked. I thought it was bad. This showed me at least that he's a good director. Like while I'm not crazy about the movie, he did it well. It's just not for me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff was done really well. But then that leads me to my next point, which is a problem I had with the first one too, the choppiness of it, because there is a little bit of choppiness, and I actually don't put the blame on Andy Serkis. I think he had an R-rated movie in mind. That's my opinion of this. Is he had an R-rated movie in mind, and the studio didn't think it would work. And maybe they were right, because again, a $90 million opening weekend, maybe the studio was correct on that, but I actually think that Andy Serkis was going to go for an R-rated movie. I think Ruben Fleischer was trying to go for an R-rated movie for the first one, as at least that's how the story goes, and the studio bogged it down. And it actually baffles me that, people are, no offense to you, but people are happy with the fact that these things are coming out bogged down.
I'm just saying is that like I would have. I love R-rated movies. I'm all about them. I would have much rather have an R-rated Venom movie.
Yeah.
But I just have to think of it like, all right, maybe, there was conflict in the studio, they didn't want it or whatever. I just got to take what I get and try to find enjoyment in that.
I guess.
What I mean? Like,
yeah, like again, it's not something I would have blame. I want to put the blame on Andy Serkis for, because it really does feel like some of the stuff he wanted to do got cut.
100%. I could definitely tell from this movie he wanted to go R-rated. There's no doubt about it.
There was some stuff that was cut. I thought it was a little noticeable. It was a little choppy. And it is baffling to me. And just like, and again, I get your point. You're just trying to take what you can get out of them, but with the first one and this one, people, that they settle for this, and that's okay, I guess, for them. I'm glad that they're enjoying them. I'm just with those noticeable cuts and the routes that they're going, and they're trying to make it more of a family friendly thing, and it doesn't need to be. It just, that's not Venom to me, and it really. At the end of the day, it baffles me, because I'll tell you actually why it baffles me is because of how much people made fun of the Topher Grace one in Spider-Man 3. I don't like that one either, but I don't know. I'd much rather take the Sam Raimi vibe of a Venom than what we're getting here, I guess, in a way.
Honestly, I see your point. I enjoy
these movies are better than Spider-Man 3. Don't get me wrong.
I prefer this Tom Hardy Venom in a way, but there are things that I preferred from the Topher Grace one. But I think
no. I prefer the Tom Hardy performance of Eddie Brock and all that. Like I prefer that, the animation of it.
You prefer the Venom from
just the tone.
Spider-Man
I think
3.
the tone with the Venom when he's actually Venom, when Venom actually comes out of him, that's the tone I would at least prefer over this. But everything else about these movies, they're better movies than Spider-Man 3. I'll at least give them that. Don't get me wrong. Overall, they're better movies. But
this is what I'm thinking too. Is that I think the reason why we got that kind of tone of Venom is because of the person who he was attached to. I feel like the symbiotes kind of change depending on who
You
they're
think so?
attached to. So because he was attached to someone
Yeah,
like Topher Grace in this movie who wanted vengeance on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, then Venom kind of became that
maybe.
same kind of revengeful Venom where
I've
here
heard that
with this
argument too.
with this Eddie Brock Tom Hardy version,
Yeah.
he's more of wanting to protect good guys, and not get into not be like evil like for example Carnage in this movie. So I feel like Venom has kind of learned from him and kind of taken this more non uh, violent and non kind of evil turn.
Yeah, but then again, even with that argument, because I've heard that argument before, like people said, it's the Eddie Brock one, it's not the Tony Todd one. It's like, but the symbiote still stays the same, if you ask me. But the
I just feel like, but I just feel like maybe Venom, the Venom symbiote in general from the planet wherever planet he came from, it was different from all the other symbiotes. Maybe all the other
in
symbiotes are, they're all different.
in this wacky version of Venom they've come up with, I guess that's the best explanation. But the only argument I'd have against it is he's still eating people. He's still, you know
Yeah,
what I
because I mean,
mean? He's
all
still
the only people that
violent.
bad guys is who only bad guys are the people they're eating.
Yeah, but like not. Yeah, I guess kind of. I mean,
Because
like
remember, they also say in this movie they're like, Venom's like, I want to be a lethal protector.
yeah,
Which, if you read in the comics, Venom actually does become good in that
yeah,
comic, where he helps Spider-Man defeat villains.
yeah,
So that's the approach I'm because that's one of the videos that I watched is it's looking like that's the approach they wanted to take with Venom was more of a lethal protector than the
yeah,
Venom that the other Venom in the comics that are more evil.
yeah.
And when because that's obviously how there's a comic that's called Lethal Protector where Venom helps
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
and that's
He's more good than
fine.
bad.
That's fine, but I don't. Again, it's that's fine if you like that. Okay, that's great. It's not for me though. That's the thing. It's like the Venom that we're getting with the jokes all the time, and like that Venom I don't like.
Okay, no, yeah, the jokes, yeah, I can do without them, but this whole this whole protagonist Venom, good Venom, only going for bad guys, I do quite enjoy.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
sure.
obviously, I did like the Venom in Spider-Man 3. That was cool too. But I don't mind this
Yeah,
lethal protector
I
type Venom.
I said, and even in the first one, that I think that the Eddie Brock character and the Venom character have really good chemistry, and I like the idea of him having to train him to be good. You know what I mean? Like, I like that concept, and you can have some humor coming out of that. I don't mind that at all. But when it's every 5 seconds and Venom is the funniest guy on the face of the
Oh
planet,
yeah, no, that I could have done without. I could have
he's
done with a lot less jokes.
look at him.
Yeah.
He's the life of the party. He goes to a rave in this one. And by that time, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, it looked cool. It
Yeah,
was
I
shot
mean,
well, but
as I say, we could have done without that
yeah,
stuff too.
come
Like,
on. I
we
mean, it was like, what the hell am I watching here? It doesn't make sense. Like you would freak out if you saw that at a party. You wouldn't think that's a costume.
also, I never noticed this in the movie. I'm guessing you didn't either. I didn't even know about this until I watched one of those breakdown videos that Tom Hardy is actually wearing an earpiece through this movie because
Is
that's
he?
how. So basically, because he
I didn't
voices
catch
Venom,
that.
he voices Venom as well.
He does, yeah, which is great, and he
So
does a good job with the voice. I have no problem with that. Yeah,
basically what it is that it's basically they film him saying the lines for Venom first, and then in the movie he's wearing the earpiece, so he's basically just talking with himself.
oh, that's
So
cool.
he'll hear the Venom, and then he'll talk, and
Th-
then Venom will talk, and then he'll talk.
That's cool. That's cool.
So
That's a cool idea.
that's pretty cool. I didn't even notice until I saw the breakdown, and they say he's wearing an earpiece. One of the scenes you can see him wearing
Yeah,
the earpiece.
it's a great
So
filmmaking idea. Yeah, I never thought of that. It's really cool. No, I mean I can appreciate that. A lot. Like I like his voice for Venom too. By the way, it's
oh
not the
yeah, it's
voice.
great.
The
Yeah,
voice I don't have a problem with.
Venom's great.
Yeah, I think Tom Hardy again. He gives 100% to these movies.
And that just
Um,
goes to show how talented this man is.
he
His
is.
Venom voice is
I just
great.
I still feel like the range and like the humanity that it gets taken away. That the stuff he can do as an actor.
Oh yeah, he could have done it. I mean, he could have done so much more with this movie. Honestly,
Yeah,
like
it
if he
gets.
was, if,
It's not his fault. It's the story. It's the storylines and the writing that they're giving him. It's just not these movies are not of Tom Hardy caliber. If you ask me, it always kind of bothered me that
He's above it.
he is like when we got that first like teaser trailer of that first Venom, I was like, hell yeah, that's gonna be awesome. That's Tom Hardy because it looks super
And then it
dark.
came out.
Then it came out and it was like, what in the hell, man? I couldn't believe what I was watching when that first one came out. I was like, is this really what they did with this? Like, it was rough for me. I had a rough time with that. I was really trying to figure out how in the hell that happened. This time, I didn't have that as much. I'll be honest. Like, that's a good thing because this time around, I didn't have it as much because, like, I understood what this movie was doing. I understood what this movie was going for. The direction seemed a little bit more clear. The consistency of the performance was really appreciated from me. Trust me, because, like, at least this movie is far from. Oh, sorry. This movie is far from unwatchable. Don't get me wrong. It's far from unwatchable.
I feel like Woody Harrelson does a nice bit of that too. You know, he's Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson just brought greatness to this movie. In my opinion, honestly, they both did really well.
Awesome, yeah, and they worked together well. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
They worked together really well.
Yeah, the scenes where Tom Hardy went to go interview Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Those are some really good scenes.
I wanted more of that. I wanted more of that sort of Eddie Brock detective side. We got a little bit more of it here than we did in the first one. I felt like, but like I wanted more of that because
it's also because he went from like news journalist or whatever to like working for a paper. So that's why we got more of that, detective side.
It was refreshing. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was really refreshing to see all that stuff. And we got that.
We got that Topher Grace, Daily Bugle side of Eddie Brock in this movie, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, it's that, but like better, because like Tom Hardy's playing it, it's better. No offense to Topher Grace, I'm sure like that wasn't his fault. I mean, the writing was not good for that movie. I mean, without a doubt, that Spider-Man 3 is not a very well written script at all, but so you do what you can, with the direction and the script. But for this movie, I think that like again, like the way I would kind of sum all this up to is like it's not for me, but I think it's much more well made than the first one. It's improvement, not only from the first movie, not only for the first Venom, but for Andy Serkis as well upon his directing. This is an improvement, and like honestly, because I even like this better than his first movie, So like this at least showed me like Andy Serkis, he's capable. He's a capable director, and I want to see more from him. I really do.
Because a couple more things I like from the movie was when Venom saw Carnage and like he went back into to Tom Hardy.
That cracked me up even in the trailer. That made me laugh.
That's the red one. He's like, I'll let you eat everyone. And then he's like, hell yeah. And he just pops back out. That was funny.
Even in the trailer, that one made me laugh. Like, oh shit. That always made me laugh. Like even in the trailer, like I see like that to me like works. Like that humor works. Because,
I was gonna say that kind of humor from Venom works. Yeah.
Well, it's such a natural reaction, right?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like organic.
You see a symbiote who's a lot more powerful than you.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you gonna do? That was funny.
It was almost like David and the Goliath is like you're smaller and you have this like much more powerful, taller being trying to kill, trying to fight you. You're like, no.
It was hilarious. I love that part. And like the thing is like even a joke like that though would work so much better if he wasn't making jokes the whole time, because that way when the humor came up, you would laugh so much harder.
I still cracked so hard during that scene. I almost pissed my pants, bro. I was laughing so hard.
It was funny, but think about how much funnier it would have been. Like if Venom
with less jokes from Venom in the movie, yeah.
If you weren't used to Venom making jokes, I think that's another big problem with this movie is like they could get away with really good humor if they didn't make it all the time. Because like if it's more sparingly and you just don't expect it, it works so much. I was
gonna say it would have been a lot less expecting that shit, and
right, it would have been awesome. It would have been awesome. Like it was still funny. Don't get me wrong. I laughed at it when I saw it in the trailer too. It was probably the best part of the trailer when I saw it. Or funny wise, it was the best part.
I like too that part when Venom just kept getting stabbed by Carnage, and he kind of fell. Like, well, they both. I think Carnage was falling at the same time. Eddie Brock was falling, and Venom kind of drips down.
Yeah.
And her husband, her fiance, catches Venom. It transfers through her, and then catches Eddie Brock. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I like that too.
And by the way, really cool. I was actually kind of moved at the end when they did that whole friendship bit when he was talking to him.
Yeah.
That was a good moment between two
He was like, he was like,
actors.
he's
That
like,
was a really good
we're,
moment.
he's like, we're a lot better than them because we're actually connected. They're not.
Yeah,
That was really cool.
yeah. When he said something like, you weren't paying attention to me. This is what I really wanted from you. You know, friendship. You know, and that got me. Like, it was a good moment dramatically between two actors, and there was no jokes there. There were no jokes there, and it worked probably the best.
It was sentiment, yeah, and you could feel it too. It was nice. I like that.
Yeah, and then he ended up, what do you say? He's like, fuck this guy. That was good too. I liked fuck this guy. That worked actually because they got one F bomb, PG-13. They used it very well. Let me throw
They
that
used it.
out
I
there.
think they put it in the best possible spot.
They used their F bomb incredibly well in this one too. It was humorous, but it was good humor again. Like it was on the level of oh shit, you know what I mean? It was good humor.
I also liked when Venom ate Carnage. That was kind of funny the way he did it. It was like really sloppy. He was,
Yeah, it was good.
it was cool. It was good.
Yeah.
But there is one theory that I just watched that I kind of want to drop on you.
Okay, is this about the post credit scene?
No, this is before.
Okay, because then we're gonna get to the post credit.
Yeah. So as you know, you may or may not know, Carnage has a son,
Yes.
Toxin.
Heard about that. Yeah, I know of Toxin. Yeah, I don't know a lot about
So,
Toxin. I know of Toxin.
There's theories that P. Mulligan is going to be the new Toxin in a future Venom movie. Because his eyes, you saw his eyes turn blue and he goes like, monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So there's theories saying that he's still alive in that in some way, shape, or form. Because in the comics, it was the same. P. Mulligan became Toxin, the son of Carnage, grandson of Venom.
Yeah.
So there's theories saying that in either Venom 3 or in some kind of movie like that, P. Mulligan will become Toxin.
I'm down with it. I'm sure it'll be the same nonsense we've been getting, but I'm down with it. I guess.
Hopefully, less humor from Venom.
Yeah. Hey, look, if they can improve on themselves every time with each subsequent movie, I'm down to keep watching them. Honestly, like, because this is a big improvement to me. Like, while I didn't love this movie like I wanted to, and was hoping I would, big improvement. Like Andy Serkis, he brought it to a better place than it was initially. So like I'm happy with that. But all right, so let's get into this post-credit scene, which everybody's gonna be talking about. So I had a feeling this was kind of gonna be where they were going.
The best bit of this movie, honestly.
Yeah, I had a feeling from when this is kind of where they were going. It was cool to see the news report from the J.K. Simmons where he was.
Well, I mean, first you got to talk about how Venom was gonna like.
Well, he was gonna show Tom Hardy his memories, essentially.
A bit of
them, right?
Of the 80 billion years in the hive.
Given Venom's personality, I kind of just think that Venom was fucking with him. Like that he couldn't actually do that. And like it was a total coincidence.
That's what I was gonna say, is I feel like Venom was the one that kind of teleported them to where the hell it was that they went.
I think Venom was joking around with that and like was telling Tom Hardy I could show you my shit, and I think it just happened to have happened. Like I don't know why. I think that it's gonna have to do with the next movie, but we'll figure it out. But
I mean, yeah, that's
Spider-Man
another
movie. Spider-Man movie.
That was another thing running through my head. Another theory that people were saying it was just a coincidence and that he wasn't actually trying to show him anything.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting now because now what we have is Venom takes place in the same universe, but only sort of, because now they went into the multiverse and now they're kind of in the MCU now. So it's a different universe overall.
So Sony's basically, or Sony's giving Venom to Marvel just for like a bit.
Well, Sony's they've already collaborated with Marvel on all this.
Well, yeah, because I mean Spider-Man's part of MCU now, so.
Yeah, so like they're gonna do the same thing with Venom for a movie, I would imagine. I don't think they're gonna get away with much more, but honestly, like I think because Marvel's gonna return Spider-Man to Sony probably after this next one, I would imagine is the plan.
Wait, no, this is Tom Holland's last Spider-Man movie.
It's his last one.
It is
before his contract ends.
Yeah,
but he's gonna re-up. Come on, he makes too much goddamn
Spider-Man.
Money. Absolutely. Dude, he has to. Dude, people love him too much as Spider-Man. He's gonna do more. That would be such a
But
bullshit move.
but that's the thing though, is that like every single Spider-Man actor has lasted 3 movies.
This is what's gonna happen. He's gonna last more. That's the whole reason they cast it younger this time, was to keep him longer. This is what's gonna happen. It happens all the time.
Well, he's gonna be in Doctor Strange for sure.
Yeah, this is what's gonna happen. It happens all the time. He's going to renegotiate his contract. They're going to figure out what they could do for the next contract, and that's what happens. Robert Downey Jr. renewed his contract all the time. Chris Hemsworth did it all the time. Chris Evans did
until they finally retired.
Yeah, and like it happens all the time in these movies. So the same thing with Tom Holland. I don't think he's going anywhere for a little bit. I think we're going to get him for 3 more Spider-Man movies. Sort of like Sony verse.
I want him to stay.
He'll stay.
And that, because I really do enjoy. He's my second favorite Spider-Man actor.
Yeah, he's my favorite actor of Spider-Man personally. So I think he is going to stay. Not because he's my favorite, but like just because I think that's the whole reason they went young in the first place.
He's made a lot of money from Spider-Man movies.
He'll stick on board. I would be very surprised if he didn't, honestly, at this point. That's a contract renegotiation. It's normal for people's contracts to end, but it doesn't mean that they don't stay on. I mean, it happens all the time. Look at the Harry Potter kids. They kept doing those damn things even though their contracts ended. They kept reading up, It happens.
Until they finally were like, nah, you know what, we're leaving.
No, the books just ended.
I mean, but you can still make other kinds of Harry Potter movies and keep them there. Like,
yeah, but they will. They will too. They'll come back too later.
I mean, yeah, they're making Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I know that's a movie in the works for next year.
Are they doing a movie?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that they're gonna have the original.
I know they were
actors.
doing the movie. I've never heard that report. I don't know where you got that.
I mean, it might be true, might be not. I don't know.
It sounds pretty false to me.
Because I heard that this movie was gonna come. I heard that like probably like 4 years ago or something like that this movie was gonna come.
Last I heard, HBO Max was developing a series in the universe of Harry Potter, so I don't think that's the case. But anyway, but off topic, obviously we'll discuss that another time, another podcast. But I'll come back to that, but another podcast. But because it's an interesting discussion. But for this movie, I mean, I kind of had a feeling that was where it was going to go. They were going to have to introduce, because Andy Serkis gave it away before the movie even came out. He was in an interview and he said, somebody had asked him if he
yeah, I saw that interview. He said, do you think Venom
and Spider-Man will,
and he's like, yeah, it's coming. It'll come.
He's like, yeah, I think it's coming real soon or something like that, right? And like, so
I saw the interview. Yeah,
he gave that giveaway. I mean, but yeah, it's so there you go. I mean,
I liked how Eddie, Venom came out and he saw Spider-Man. He's like that guy, and he just licks the screen. That was funny.
Yeah, I am hoping we do see the villain version of Venom though. I don't want the hero.
I'm contrasting. I think that we're gonna get the hero version. He's gonna like I said, lethal protector.
Oh, if you ask me what I think we're gonna get, I think we're gonna get the hero. I want the villain.
That's what I'm saying. Is because they've set this up. Andy Serkis has set this up for it to be the hero version, because like I said, they both said we're the lethal protector, and in the comics Venom helps Spider-Man defeat all these villains. So that's the Venom we're gonna get.
But Venom wants to eat Spidey. That's where we left off.
I don't know if that lick was an eating one or if it was I want to help you.
I don't know. He looks
because that's the thing is I don't know which Venom this is. I don't know if this is the Topher Grace Venom that wants revenge on Spider-Man, or if this is a Venom that sees Spider-Man as a friend, or
I think that's
a good guy.
I think that symbiote is going to take over Tom Hardy. That's what I think is going to happen in this. I think he's going to take over Eddie Brock, and I think Eddie Brock's going to lose control of him. That's my personal opinion of it.
I'm contrary to that, but we'll see.
I hear you, and I understand why you think that. Well, I don't really think anything at this point. Like, I think that would be a good way to do it.
MCU is full of surprises, so who knows what the hell is going to happen?
Yeah, I personally think it would be better if you went the villain route, though.
You know what would be cool? You know what would be cool though is if we see in this movie, if a little bit of Venom goes onto Tom Holland, and we see that Venom suit again.
Well, he has that black suit at one point in the trailer, and everybody was wondering if maybe that was the Venom suit. Now it kind of makes sense. Yeah. Or I was wondering about. I don't know if anybody else was, because I saw that black suit when we did our breakdown.
Well,
I asked about that.
Especially after watching this movie, It makes a lot more sense now
Probably
too.
is the Venom suit, right? I mean, it has to be. I would
Because I
imagine
mean,
so.
because everyone was saying that in that trailer, that thing that was screeching at Tom Holland was Venom. And watching this movie, it makes sense.
So it probably will
That,
be the villain. We'll see.
yeah.
I don't know. I think he's going to be the lethal protector, but I don't want him to be. I want it to be the
Also,
villain. Probably.
speaking of Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man game that's coming out that has Spider-Man and Miles Morales, also has Venom in it.
Oh, it looks, and that's the Venom I want too because it's
It's
more
the villain
horrifying.
Venom, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one I wanted. And I hope we get it. I really do. I think they could move that direction. I really do, but we have to see how they do it, too, because I don't want it to not
Because
make
I
sense.
don't, and I also don't think that if Venom was to be a villain in this movie, I honestly don't think he's gonna eat Tom Holland's, because then he'd be dead and we'd have no more Spider-Man
I don't think he's
unless
gonna
Tom
kill Tom Holland. I just think he's gonna be the villain. That's all.
you
There's a
said you
difference.
think he's gonna eat him.
No, I think he wants to eat him. He wants to
True.
eat him. That was how I took the ending. But
You know, what's funny is if in the movie he actually does eat Tom Holland's head, and that's just basically
that's
Tom
the
Holland
end.
saying, "I'm done with Spider-Man."
Yeah, that's the end.
Bye.
There you go. Here's your Venom.
Because if we do see that happen, then it's kind of obvious MCU's pointing to the, pointing towards Tom Holland, saying, "Hey, I'm done with Spider-Man. Doesn't matter how much money you give me, I'm gone."
I don't think
But
so.
if we don't see that, which I don't think we will, then it just means that Tom Holland, is gonna stay.
I don't think he's
Yes.
done. I really don't. Like, I'd be very surprised if Tom Holland left at this juncture. I would be. If he doesn't re-up on that contract, I'm gonna be shocked. Because, like, come on.
I'll be shocked too. Honestly, he's too important to the Spider-Man role. He's made so much money from it that there's just no need
He's young enough. Why
to,
wouldn't he want to get
yeah.
on that Robert Downey Jr. level, of money at this point, because
And
like
fame.
and fame. And he can he has the potential to, if he does this long enough, he can get there and like everybody's gonna his goal should be to be the most iconic Spider-Man, and the way you do that is to do the most movies. Like that's how you do it. That's how you make it happen. You do the
Well, I
most
mean,
movies and
technically he's been in the most movies as Spider-Man.
yeah,
Because
but
Tobey Maguire's only done 3. Andrew Garfield's done 2.
I mean
If I'm not mistaken.
standalones. I mean standalones though. That's where I was
Uh,
going with that. Yeah, he has been in the most so far. You're right, but as far as like standalone movies, I think he needs to do more. It honestly, even story wise though, they're gonna talk. The first thing here's the thing. First things first. They don't want to lose Tom Holland. I promise you that. Sony doesn't want to lose Tom Holland, so they're doing everything in their power to talk him into staying. And everything in their power is a lot of money. And I guarantee enough money will get him to stay because story wise, why would they want to lose him? You know what I mean? Because why would they want to move on story wise?
but I feel if Tom Holland stays as Spider-Man, I feel like he needs to be in. They need to be all Marvel movies. They can't just be like Sony based movies. Honestly,
I don't know. I disagree with that because I think that they're kind of setting up enough of a villain squad at this point that you can do that. Between we know Michael Keaton's Vulture is going to be in the Morbius movie. So you got that going.
that's cool.
And then you have he's in the trailer of it anyway, and then you have Venom now, right? And hopefully oh God, you just said the name, not Carnage, but
Toxin.
Toxin. So you're gonna have Toxin. There's gonna be enough villains for Tom Holland to keep fighting off. I think it just makes
Well,
sense.
that's if Venom is a villain in this
Yeah.
movie.
Toxin. I'm talking, not Venom.
No, I'm talking about, you said no, but you said we have Venom now here too, but
Well, true, but either way, that even if he's not,
because but that could even, that could even set up a.
team up.
I was about to say, of Spider-Man and Venom going against all
So you
these
got
villains.
a team up right there. That's
Yeah.
perfect for a movie. Sony doesn't want to lose Tom Holland. I guarantee.
Well,
it.
and I'm pretty sure we'll have multiversal Spider-Man in this movie too, of them teaming up against all these other
Yeah.
bad guys. So.
Well, what you'll have is probably you're going to have Tom Holland. Probably what this is all going to end with is him coming back into the Sonyverse or going into the Sonyverse. That's probably why they're doing it in the first place this way, is to get Tom Holland ending up in another universe. He's no longer going to be in the MCU. He's going to end up back with Venom back in Sony land. That's where he's going to be by the end of all this, I think, in my opinion.
I feel like Venom's gonna be like, "Hey, bro, just come back to our verse. Come on,
Exactly.
We'll team up and just kill Toxin in the next movie that I have."
100%. Yeah, Toxin. You got Scorpion. You got Morbius. You got Michael Keaton's Vulture. I mean, there's tons of
Oh, yeah,
villains.
I was gonna say you could see Spider-Man and Venom in that Morbius movie
Yeah.
going against bad guys from that movie.
Yeah, I just feel like there's so much more for. That's the nice thing about Spider-Man lore is he has so many villains and so many things you can do. You don't have to just like cut him off right away. So he's got a lot of
I mean,
potential.
I was gonna say
stack.
we still haven't seen a live action Rhino. There's that
Yeah.
potential too.
Well, we have in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but not in this universe. No. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
not in the Tom Holland verse or whatever. But yeah, I think that he's good. It's gonna be good stuff. I don't think that they would have like teased Venom for this if they weren't planning on bringing Tom Holland back into Sony. Honestly, because like that's why you connect Venom into it. I don't know why Sony would have played ball with Marvel, honestly, if they didn't have more plans for Tom Holland later on down the line. Because like honestly, it's hard, as we know, it was hard enough for them to rent out Tom Holland, to Marvel, to Disney. So I don't know why they would have played ball with Venom if they didn't, want to work together to bring Tom Holland back into Sony. That was, I think, in my opinion, that's the plan. So
And that actually, makes a lot of sense that if Venom does team up with Spider-Man to kind of give him a bit of himself to Spider-Man, so he can also kind of be like his own Venom, which is pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we go for an hour. Where would you rate this movie? Might go, must go, no go, forget about it.
Honestly, for me, it's got to be a must go. Like,
Fair enough, man. I think a lot of people are gonna feel that way, and that's fair. I'm gonna go.
Especially if you guys are were a big fan of the first one. If you enjoyed the first one in any shape, way, or form, then you'll definitely enjoy the second one a lot more. Just because Woody Harrelson does a much better job as a villain than the villain in the first one. So it was a lot better too, in my opinion. So
yeah, and say for me, like I recognize it's not for me, but it's gonna cater to a lot of people. And I think it's well made enough that it's gonna cater to a lot of people.
I mean, box office speaks for itself.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm gonna go with a might go on it, even if it's a low might go. I'll stick with the might go. It's not a no go. It's not unwatchable. You know what I mean? It's a low, very low for me. Might go, just because of my feelings on it. But a lot of you guys are gonna love it out there, and let us know in the comments what you thought of it, though. Too, and that's most important is your guys' opinions. We're just two guys, talking about our opinions and having a fun discussion about a movie. That's the whole point, right? So let us know your guys' opinions because we're very curious to know, and let's get the community going on this one. So definitely want to hear all of that, and I want to thank everybody for joining us for this second to last episode of Movie Night. Next week will be the last one, I believe. We are doing No Time to Die next week, so if I'm not mistaken, so that'll be a good one. Yeah, so thank you, everybody.
I gotta go watch that movie.
I guess so. Yeah, I
right.
guess we hadn't discussed it, but yeah, I think next week is No Time to Die. Have to double check. I don't have Sammy giving me the schedules anymore, so I'll let you know on that. But I believe that is the one we're gonna do next week. So appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for coming by, and it's been a fun movie night today. And yeah, so Jose, thanks for joining too, man. And where can people find you?
All socials and on stereo at Type 1 Latino, all together, all lowercase.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_ and on Instagram Dom_Martino_ official. Follow the Anorex pages at Anorex official on Twitter and Anorex official on Instagram. Go follow Sammy too, even though she's no longer on the show. Please make sure you go over there, show her support. Her info is on the screen as well. And this show is now on Spotify, if you guys can't tell from the top right there. So even though the show will be ending, all the episodes will still be on Spotify for you guys to go back and listen to and hopefully have a good time with. Also, we do have a merch link down there if you will be welcoming and get some of that merch. That'd be great. I hear it's really comfortable stuff, so definitely check it out, guys. merch.streamelements.com/anorex. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining for this episode of Movie Night. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Appreciate it, and you guys have a great night. Bye-bye.